Hey everyone, of course, this is just being me coming to you today with a video. Now, as you can see here in the thumbnail, we'll be doing the recap for Love and Marriage DC. Now, this was actually episode 6. And of course, at the end, I'm going to rate the actual show. But overall, again, you already know I am really, really loving this show. Um, it's a little different. It's a little different, but it definitely keeps me entertained. I enjoy reviewing it as well as watching it. Give a huge, huge thank you to everyone that has watched my content, that has shared it, who has commented, also that has subscribed. Y'all don't really know how much that means to me. I definitely appreciate it. I just feel like I need to give something back now that I'm getting so much love. I definitely appreciate it. Um, I try to comment back to everyone in the chat, but if I missed your comment, please charge it to my head and not my heart. A lot of times I'm going back and trying to review things, when I'm working at my corporate job. So I try my best. So if I missed your comment, please don't take it any type of way. Also, at the end of the video, I just want to ask like a couple of questions that, of course, you could leave down in the comment your answers, because, of course, I would love to, be able to engage with my audience as well. But not going to hold you. We're going to go ahead and get into where we left off last week. So, of course, we know last week, when we left off, they were at Quick's street naming event, and Arena and Sherelle had, gotten into it. Things got pretty heated. People there, they're still saying calm down. She's hollering, Arena's hollering, nobody like you. It was just wild. We won't harp too much because we pretty much seen it play out, a lot of it last week. Oh, Joy says in her confessional, Arena is displaying what not to do in public. Now, to me, that was a little, what they said on the show last week, shady. To me, that was a little, come on now, Joy. At the end of the day, I do feel that this was a bit much. I mean, they took what was supposed to have been a rememberable moment for their friend and used it for this. And to me, wrong place, wrong time. But yet and still, which what Joy said was correct. This is not how you want to act out in public. But this is all about you. It pretty much, she could have threw you under the bus at that point, because you could have seen where she was saying, well, Joy this and Joy that, and kind of pushing it back off on you, whereas she kind of stood her ground and said, I guess, what, repeated what was said. Was it the right place? Was it the right time? No, but we'll get a little bit more into that as we move forward. Arena, I'm sorry, Quick says that Arena went from Arena to Ray Ray. He said she went from classy to straight ghetto real quick. She went from 0 to 100 real quick. And, it kind of, you know, I'm not going to say it took away from that moment, but again, it wasn't the right place nor the right time for that. Ashley and Arena then talk, and she and pretty much, she repeated what she had said previously. And Ashley pretty much said in her confessional, she knew that it was just gonna get real. It was gonna go left when Arena showed up in flats. So, I guess she said she already knew. Arena be ready for whatever. And yet again, we see Sherelle join them again, and they pretty much go back and forth a little bit more. However, I did hear where Arena apologized and said she don't even know Black. And she said that, she don't know him, and basically she was pretty much summing it up in her words what was previously said to her. Black said in his confessional that he see where Raina is backpedaling and he feels that she's messy. And then we kind of go ahead and we move forward with getting into where we see Quick and Ashley meet up, and not meet up, where they go for breakfast, and they pretty much sit down and talk. They kind of reflect back on you know the street naming and what had transpired, and pretty much Ashley kind of break it down for Quick, the backstory of the Sherelle and Arena beef, and kind of let him know where it started. Quick said that it was disappointing because, for one, his grandmother was there. Not only was his grandmother there, but other elders from out of the community, his family. And, you doing something positive in the community, the last thing you want is your friends, your very close friends, to come there with the very thing that you're trying to sway away from. I'm pretty sure he has it in his mind maybe to do some really positive things to the community on that particular street, because we know that he had a past on that street. And to have them out there clowning, it just, it wasn't the right place nor the right time. And Ashley then goes on to say that, she tired of all the arguing. She want to sit down, with everyone, talk it out, hash it out. She also says that she wants to sit down with Winter. And you can see what Quick was like, okay, that's different. But I applaud her. I applaud her if she feels as though, okay, time out for all the extra, this is the person that I have the biggest problem with on the cast. I'm gonna sit down and talk to her so we can at least come to some type of common ground, to where we can at least, be in the same, crowd or facility or what have you. And it's not no animosity. We don't want to see it replay again what just happened at the last event. She wants to be able to have events and have things and it not be this big blow up. And I commend her for that. Then we go on to see where Arena has put together a birthday party for Mama T. Mama T is, I'm assuming because it was a Western attire, that, everyone dressed up in a Western attire. It was really, really nice, well thought out. Arena also went on to surprise her mom with a horse. She said that back in the day, she do remember her mom mentioning that, she loved horses. So she thought that would be a really, really great gift. Whereas Jamie was like, why wait till she get 70 something years old to do this? But, baby Miss T got on that horse like it wasn't nothing. So shout out to Miss T, because Miss T say, don't matter how old I am, I'm getting on this horse. So shout out to her. But of course, we see where Joy is there. She's there, and Mama T and Joy and Arena, they're all standing around talking, kikiing. They asked, Joy, do you have a dog? And she was like, no, Clifton won't let me have one. He worried about having babies. And they kind of go on to that little discussion. Then we go on and we hear where Arena says, well, her and Jamie doesn't have relations because her mom is down the hall. And her mama was like, what? Like, I'm way down there. I can't hear. Matter of fact, I need y'all to go get with it tonight. So she go over to Jamie and tell him, of course, you could kind of tell he was kind of embarrassed, which I think I would have been too. I mean, God, if my mom was here, I would love to share stories, but I don't know if I want to go that far. But that's great. If they have that type of relationship, that is great. So then, of course, they go outside. Arena and Joy go and discuss what happened at the event. Pretty much, Arena said that, she asked Ashley, are we good? And Ashley was like, yeah. She was like, but, you need to learn how to walk away. You need to learn how to walk away. And Ashley also asked Joy, how did you feel? And Joy in turn says, why you ain't say nothing? And Ashley was like, okay, why would I need to say something? This wasn't my fight. So pretty much my whole thing was trying to calm y'all down. because this was my husband's event, and pretty much y'all came through and was pretty much almost ruined it, And I'm gonna stop right there, because to me, now y'all can leave in the comments down below, but tell me how y'all feel. If you watched the episode from last week up until now, it seems as though everyone is looking at Arena as though she was the aggressor. Now, mind you, she might have took it there, but Sherelle was the one that approached her. And to me, if you know someone, if been around someone or anything to that nature, that things can escalate pretty fast. With certain people, you automatically know, okay, nah, I'm not gonna even go, because it's gonna go left. So for her to approach her at this event, I don't know what anybody else expected. I mean, did Arena have to do all the extra? No, she didn't. But at the same time, I can understand she almost was in defense mode, because here it is. You probably caught her off guard, because again, they was at this event and you approached her in reference to something that, was said or however it go. And then when she get in defense mode, it's like everybody Arena this, Arena that. But no one is saying anything in reference to why would Sherelle bring that up at that event when it wasn't the right time nor the place. But moving forward, we see where then Ashley and Winter meet up. Now, they meet up, and again, we did hear, previously that Ashley said that she wanted to kind of be cordial with everybody, and Winter walks in, and it's still out for debate with Winter, because to me, Winter can be a little petty, can be a little messy, but then in situations such as this one, it kind of shows that she really is kind of trying, to me, just me. Winter sits down and Ashley automatically goes into, you don't like me and I don't like you. Now, I love me some Ashley, but come on, never gonna be biased. I always want to try to keep it, the up and up. Ashley, if you were expecting to have a productive, mature, conversation about coming together and being cordial, I don't think that was the right thing to say. Like, you automatically went into this mode where she almost felt as though she have to get on the defense, because this is how you approached her. Now, no, she didn't come in hugging and XYZ, because I guess when you don't know what you're walking into, you don't really know how to approach that person. You don't know whether to hug them, shake their hand, or what have you, because every time you have been in each other's company, it has always been something different. So to me, I think the conversation started out rocky. And of course, they go back and forth with what happened at Sherelle's event. And, Winter asks, okay, so enough of this back and forth. What is the ultimate goal? Why am I here? And pretty much Ashley goes on to tell her that she wants to sit down with everyone. She wants to, be able for everybody to say what they need to say, and everybody try to move on from there. So when they do come together, it's no blow up. Winter agrees, for the sit down, because, she said that at this point, she just wants some peace. Winter did go on to ask her, well, who's going to be at this party? Now, come on, Winter, who's going to be at the party. So come on. It's like, you give them this and they take this, So in this instance, I applaud Winter because she's open for it. I applaud Ashley because she presented it. But how she came across in the beginning was it kind of took it somewhere else. So then we go on to see where Arena is at a boutique or what have you, and she's meeting up with the designer because she is launching her wig line. Now, Joy meets Arena there. They kind of play around in the wigs. I thought that Joy looked kind of cute in the blonde wig, But anyways, so Arena asked Joy, what's been going on? How's it going with the wedding? She said, I'm gonna need your help with that. Then she goes on to say, Arena was like, why don't you just go to the Justice of Peace like me and Jamie did? And Joy kind of, you could tell every time somebody mentioned the wedding to Joy, she kind of tense up, like she really don't be wanting to talk about it. And finally, she does come clean and say her reasoning to why she doesn't really want a wedding. And she says that the reason is because her father is no longer here. And she feels as though, it would be feeling like something is missing. And at that point, I understood. Because if you watch my previous reviews on Love and Marriage DC, I was I'm not going to say I was questioning Joy, but it was just, to me, she was kind of a little standoffish when it came to her and Clifton and the marriage. And, because more, often we see us as women wanting that fairy tale wedding. But in this situation, it was more him than it was her. And so now that she has opened up and said that this is the reason, I totally get it. I totally understand, but I think that this is a conversation that her and Clifton need to have, because she don't want to make him feel as though she don't want to get married or, or something to that nature. Go ahead, open up, be honest, and tell him your feelings. And I'm sure, he would understand and he would receive it better. So then we go on to see where the guys meet up at the batting cage. Quick lets them know that also Black is coming. Clifton goes on to say, who is Black? And Quick was like, you know who Black is. He said that in confessional. You know who Black is. Of course, your wife beefing and people arguing in the streets behind all of this mess. You know who Black, who he is. So then we see where Black, come in and they arrive. Quick kind of being that Clifton made as if he didn't know who Black was. He introduced them. Quick immediately goes on and, says he wants to address what happened at his event. He let him know. I was kind of disappointed with that because, again, it wasn't the right place nor the time. And, it just went crazy. And Black said that pretty much it looks as though everything is coming from Joy. And Joy is upset with him behind a decision that he made. And, of course, he elaborated. He explained that, he was, I guess, that maybe the acting manager, but he also was a part of the group. He said that, he was tired. It was wearing him out. And when someone that was previously a part of the group, when she, decided and said that she would come back and help him, everybody was opposed to it. And he pretty much gave him an ultimatum. Either she come back and she helped me or I got to go. So I guess they was opposed to it. He wound up quitting. I guess pretty much Mambo Sauce dismantled at that point. Now, to me, I can't tell nobody how to feel. I can understand that, Joy feels as though this kind of crushed her dreams. But at the same time, you can't really be selfish in a situation, because if he's expressing his concerns, then he has every right to go with what's best for him. You see what I'm saying? It's not to the point I don't feel that years later we should be throwing around the word hate because of that. But of course, who am I? But anyways, so Clifton goes on to ask Black, is that all that happened? Because I know more, but I'm not going to put nobody business out. Okay, so why did you say it? I mean, I be trying to figure out, do these people know that they on the show? Do they not know when you look up that man with that camera over there, he's a part of production? Like, why bring up something and you don't elaborate? I mean, if you're not going to elaborate on it, just keep it to yourself. Just keep it to yourself. So Black said that, he don't have no problem with Joy. Joy has a problem with him. He don't mind having a conversation with Joy. And we later, I think we're going to find out that Joy still have yet to have the conversation. But at this point, you can't help but to almost go with what he's saying, because he is the one at this time willing to have that conversation. He's willing to sit down with her and go over whatever. And mind you, she's the one that pretty much brought it to the forefront. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we have to almost go with what he's saying, because he's more open about it, where she tends to kind of shut down and really don't want to say too much about it. So then we go on to see they are at the meetup. Now, this is an event, of course, that we know that Ashley kind of came up with to get everybody together to be able to sit down, hash it all out. They meet up at I think maybe like a bar or something. Whatever the bar is, pretty much it gives you that opportunity to make your own drink, things of that nature. So it really looked as though they were having fun, they were vibing. And of course, Winter and Sherelle arrive. And, again, it looked like everyone is vibing. So they go ahead and they sit down. Ashley kind of lays out the agenda, what is the ultimate goal to, the reason as to behind the meetup. She lets everyone know that she has her little sign, do that shit, or say that shit, rather, I'm sorry. And whenever you're ready to say something, hold up the sign. You have 1 minute to say what you need to say. And then the ultimate goal at the end of this meeting, we're going to leave this alone and move on. So nobody should have a problem after this, because we going to say what we need to say right here. Now, again, good thing. I think it was a good idea. Now, kind of going backwards. The first thing that Ashley said when Joy arrived is, Joy has on tennis shoes. Now, okay. Maybe it wasn't highlighted what the dress attire was, which we do see where Joy tends to dress down more than she dress up. And I can understand that. I'm one of those type of people. If I'm not going to work, I'm not going to church, I'm not going, move around for the evening dates or something like that, you ain't going to really find me in all of that dressed up attire, makeup. You're not going to find me with that, So I get it. But, when you meeting up, again, we on a TV show, and not to compare, this show to Real Housewives of Atlanta and things of that. Of course, you're expected to present yourself in a certain way, but at the end of the day, everybody had their own style, so whatever. So, they all basically they sit around and they're chit chatting, they're talking, and pretty much Arena is the first one to grab the sign. And when she grabs the sign, she asks the question, why is Winter here? Now, of course, we all know that her and Winter is not in the best place. But, of course, that's where the episode ends. They always do it to us right when it's getting juicy. They cut it off and we got to see the rest next week. But I guess that's to keep us watching. But overall, to me, the episode was pretty good. Normally, I'm on that high 9, 10 scale. This episode, I'm going to give it about an 8. I'm going to even push it to an 8.5, because it still was giving. It still was, enjoyable to watch. It wasn't hard for me to watch it. And mind you, I watched this partially on my lunch. When I got off, I'm cooking and listening and trying to take notes and XYZ. So it's not hard to come and do this, because this is a show I actually enjoy. But we do see where next week, where they're going to have what it looks to be maybe like a little intervention with little Jamie. It looks like Big Jamie and Quick and maybe someone else meets little Jamie, perhaps maybe on the street, on Quicksilver Way. And they, spot a little blood stains or what have you. And they're kind of going over, where they don't want to see little Jamie go and things of that nature. Also, we see where Arena's going to go ahead and launch her wig line. And then I think at the end, we kind of see where Arena and Jamie might be going, at it. But, and for some strange reason, y'all, now mind you, I like all the couples on this show. I'm still kind of out on the debate with Joy and Clifton, but I get how Clifton ride for his wife, and that's what his fiance, and that's what he's supposed to do. Really, Sherelle and Black, I really haven't seen too much of them other than, but with Arena and Jamie and Quick and Ashley, for some strange reason, I love to see them. And it does something to me, because even when I seen the little clip of Lil Jamie at the Mama T's birthday party, it made me feel so good to see him. He was standing behind his dad. He was smiling. That was awesome. I love to see it. Love it, love it, love it. But y'all, that was it. That was the end of the episode. Overall, like I said, I'll give it an 8.5. Again, I enjoy, reviewing this show. Leave down in the comment, are y'all enjoying this season? How do you feel about, what I was asking in reference to everybody kind of coming down on Arena versus Sherelle at the event? Also, how do you feel about, how everything is going as far as with the Joy and Sherelle and Black situation? Do you think it's a conversation need to be had, or do you think they need to just leave it alone? Either way it go, y'all leave it down there. Now, what I was saying in the beginning is basically my email address is going to be in the description. If you have any particular story that you want to share, or you would like to hear me cover, or if you want to come up and share the platform with me, please, please, please email me. Let me know. I'm open to all of that. Again, I'm new. I'm just really basically, trying to get my feet wet. Again, I appreciate everyone that has subscribed, that has shared it, who has liked it, because I have noticed, clearly I'm getting through the algorithm because I'm reaching other people, and it's definitely appreciated. But I also want to be able to engage with everyone. So if you could leave either in the comments or email, whichever one is easier for you, and give me any suggestions, any topics you might want to discuss. I am open for it all. I'm open for it. As you may notice, I didn't review Basketball Wives as of yet. Again, y'all, I said I was going to keep it transparent, so let me go ahead and keep it transparent. I tried, y'all. I tried. Basketball Wives lost my attention seasons and seasons ago, and I caught a couple of clips this current season, and it seems as though it may have been going in a different direction, but for some strange reason, I can't get into it. Now, if y'all would like for me to, review it, somebody leave in a comment, email me, let me know. Of course, if you want a particular episode, I'll go ahead and watch it to review it. But overall, y'all, I can't do it. And for some reason, I can't do it. But yeah, again, thank y'all again for watching and supporting. Again, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when another video come up. Again, hit my email if you have anything you would like to share, any suggestions. I'm open for it all, because I don't want this just to be my platform. I want this to be our platform. So again, thank y'all for watching. Have a blessed night. I will probably hop on tomorrow. If they have any hot topics, y'all, it's a whole nother discussion. I was gonna tell y'all about something I seen on that page or that group or whatever, but we'll have another live in reference to that. We got something to talk about. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and good night, y'all, and please be blessed. Thank you.